Turn 4 Akroma, the ramp. We phase back in. Oh wow, opponent's gonna really. Opponent is going to silence us. Today on Commander Replay, we check out Boros Keywords with Akroma and Kediss and see how much damage we can punch out. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, I've started a second YouTube channel called Moments in Music, and I released the first video today. I'd love it if you go check it out. Link is in the description below. Welcome back everyone, playing some Boros Keywords today with Akroma and Kediss in the command zone. Let's take a look at this opener. It's a little awkward, but Myriad Landscape ramps, War Room draws, Makokoro draws. I think this is fine, actually. Let's go ahead and keep this, even though it does look a little land heavy from its onset, but I think we have enough value going on here that will be just fine. So this is one that I've been wanting to play for a little while. With a lot of the other decks that I've been messing around with, keywords have been playing a really big role in those decks. Things like Akroma's will show up, but also in like General Ferris Rokirik, I noticed getting Trample, getting Evasion on your creatures is a big deal there. And then also my Aurelia Exemplar of Justice, red creatures I want to play tribal deck, is really just about putting Trample on big red creatures. So I've been having a lot of fun with keyword stuff lately. And so that has made me want to take another look at Akroma and see what we can do with it. We'll get the Myriad Landscape in right here. We'll get the Mox Amber in, and we'll pass. Anyway, so I know a lot of people like to run Rogue Rack in the command zone, and Rogue Rack is fine. Rogue Rack has some nice synergies with certain cards. Stuff like Mox Amber is very cool. But I feel like Rogue Rack doesn't give you as much toward the mid and end game as you would really like. So I decided not to go the Rogue Rack direction, and there aren't a ton of other good options for commanders, especially at low CMC, but Kediss does allow for a lot of extra damage on your opponents, on top of all the damage that Akroma is probably bringing from your other creatures, so seems like it should be a fun little combination. And like, I get it, with this setup you could also like go really Voltron with it, but I've got a lot of Voltron decks, don't need another one. So, excited to try this out, try to get as many keywords as we can on the things. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Signet. Signets are helpful. Let's play the Mountain, play the Signet, and we'll pass like that. We'll take a peek at the deck while opponents are going here. So here's the list. I would say I got about 70% of the things that I wanted. I had to make some difficult cuts trying to get this thing down to 100. At one point it was about 36 creatures. It's down to 24 now. That pains me. But at the top end here, we see Akroma and Zatalpa. Tons of keywords on both of those, and really the main key of this deck is going to be to get Odric Lunarch Marshal and spread all of our abilities to all of our creatures with Akroma in play, and then everything will be giant, and it will be awesome. So to facilitate that, we do have both Thalia's Lancers and Search for Glory, in addition to Sword of Hearth and Home, which can blink Thalia's Lancers, getting us multiple legendaries, because Aurelia is also really good with Akroma, and makes everyone at the table die super quickly. Akroma's Memorial, also going to be good for a situation like this when you care about keywords. Had to cut Sword of Vengeance, just didn't have enough room, but that one also gives you a ton of keywords that are great. Had to cut a ton of stuff in the 2 and 3 mana range just to have enough room for these other things. As far as some cards that I don't typically get to run in a lot of my Boros decks, we've got Urabrask, we've got Alina, we've got Bloodsworn Steward, seems really good. I've got a Nyx Lotus in here. I've been testing this one out. It's been going pretty well. Bastion Protector is one that I haven't been running as much lately. That's still very good, frankly, but excited about that one. Also, Crystalline Giant, one that I've been wanting to use for a while with Aurelia and just haven't gotten around to it. And then finally, Honor-Worn Shaku, one that I've been also trying to test out a little bit. Anyway, let's get back to the game here. Opponent drops in the Omenkeel. This is an interesting deck. This one showed up in a previous game somewhere, so this is their Omenkeel Vehicles deck. They asked me what deck to bring before the game, and I told them, you're going to want something that can, like, block. This deck can punch out damage. So something that has some way to defend itself is what you're going to want to be after. There's a Boros Signet for opponent. Opponent did also get themselves a Siren Storm Tamer. Counter target spell or ability that targets you or a creature you control. Solid. Very solid. Here's a True Conviction. That'll be great for our late game, but a lot of things need to happen before we get to that. Let's get this War Room into play. Can we get our commander and crack the thing? 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, we can. Let's do it. That's also why I played the Signet first. I think it works out better if we go that way, though I haven't completely done the math. Cast Kediss. Crack the Myriad Landscape. I'm going to need a bunch of white. This deck is heavily white, which for the longest time was true of a lot of my Boros decks. But then as red started getting all the tools, I noticed that the color balance of my deck started shifting back towards either 50-50 or red dominant, because there's been so many good red creatures printed. But this particular one, still really white dominant, not that much red in the deck. There's probably a couple cool red cards that we could get in here. Embercleave gives you some really nice keywords, is good at killing people. Would be really good with Akroma and Kediss in play. But yeah, like I said, I got about 70% of the things that I wanted. Had to cut some fun stuff for the usual ramp and removal just to make the deck work sort of cards. Omenkeel going over to opponent. Let's give this the old read. It's a 2-mana 3/3. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play lands from among them as long as they remain exiled. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they, in fact, hit 3 lands. Tell Sean, hope you didn't need lands. He made his 3rd land drop. Opponent also got themselves a Fallow Sage, which is very cool. Whenever it becomes tapped, you may draw a card, and this deck's going to have a lot of crewing, so that's a nice little synergy right there. Miri Weatherlight Duelist coming in. Yep. Smothering Tithe for opponent. Yeah, sadly, we do not have an answer for that. And, we might be drawing kind of soon, too. Although, are we on Akroma mana? Nope, not paying. We draw a Homeward Path, not really what we need to play. Makokoro? We're on Akroma mana. That's insane. Didn't think we'd get there that fast. Are there other things that we can do that make more sense? Not really. Cast Akroma? Turn 4 Akroma. The ramp. We cracked a Myriad Landscape, Boros Signet, and Mox Amber. That's triple ramp. That'll do it. That will do it. Kediss gets +1/+1 for having, what is it, a partner? Yes, partner is the keyword that it cares about. We'll swing over to Eric since he has no blockers, and it will sting the other opponents for 2, which is very cool. Reading Kediss, we've spent a lot of time on Akroma. Kediss says whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. A card that I've probably undervalued a bit since it's come out. Really, there's just been a gluttony of good Boros cards, as even just considering only 2 and 3 drops, there's just like more of them than creatures you can run in your deck. So Eric takes 2 commander damage and everyone else gets stung for 2. We're going to combat. Opponent's going to crew their vehicle, draw a card, and we'll pump up the team. Omenkeel going over to the Quintorious deck. In the middle, we've got Sean piloting his Lathiel, the Bounty is Dawn deck. Seen a little bit of this one on the channel. He gains life, and his stuff gets huge. And it becomes a real problem because it definitely gets out of Blasphemous Act range in a hurry. It can be a pretty silly deck. The main question for him is usually, what's his mana production going to be like? He does struggle with mana production a bit, so if he falls behind in the land department, it will slow down the oppressiveness of this deck, because if you just power it out and get a bunch of life gain going, it can be dumb. And then finally, we've got Eric piloting Quintorious Field Historian, another very interesting one that Sean's piloted a lot on the channel. Spirits you control get +1/+0. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 3/2 red-white spirit creature token. Talked about it a bunch of times, but it's sort of confusing in the sense that, like, you think it's a spirit commander, but really it's a move stuff in and out of your graveyard commander, more than it's really a spirit tribal commander. You want to know what makes me nervous is casting Akroma into open blue mana. Honestly, I'm not entirely confident that trying to slam an Akroma right here is going to do much unless this player taps out, so I'm probably going to hold off on that, even though it's really enticing. It turns into a 12/12 with new Akroma in play, which is awesome. It's so much damage. 18/18 if you're in Aurelia and you get 2 combats. Usually, in a game with Aurelia like that, that means that Akroma can usually just kill 1 player by herself, and then the rest of your team can go elsewhere. Simplifies the math in the sense that it just gets really, really big. Thrilling discovery. Opponent's doing a lot of looting over there. I guess that kind of makes sense with the Quintorious ability. They discarded a Perforos Bronze-Blooded, also the Hammer of Perforos. No Perforos for them. I assume they're digging for a board wipe, but I don't know. I don't really know what their plan is. Maybe they're just trying to set up their graveyard. That would also make sense. Discarded our True Conviction? Man. A lot of good cards in their graveyard. That hurts. That hurts. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Bastion Protector. That's a good one to have around. Not gonna pay, because I think we're probably gonna do some card drawing anyway with the lands. Not paying. Play the Homeward Path just in case of a wheel. Cast the Bastion Protector. Oh my, our team is big. Our team is big. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's a Venser. Okay. Okay. That's why I didn't want to tap out for Akroma. Had a feeling something like this was coming. That being the case, we will play this Angel of Invention. Question is, do we want the servos? The servos don't have any abilities, so they don't really get pumped up, so I think we go +1/+1 counters. Get the lifelink going. We'll send the Kediss into Flintlock for bouncing our thing. They can either take the damage and it'll sting everyone, or we can eat a creature. Both are good. Yeah, they can eat the Venser. We're doing really good on mana. We have 8 mana and it's turn 5. That is a great spot to be. Would love to blow up that Smothering Tithe. Really like to get some card draw going. I don't think we have a lot of ways to do it. There's a Dismantling Wave, an Austere Command, and I think that's about it. Yeah, maybe a little light on Artifact Enchantment Removal. Esper Sentinel for opponent. Generous Gift on the Bastion Protector makes me incredibly sad. That is great protection for our both of our commanders. There's a few ways to get it back. There's not tons and tons. Opponent's going to attack with the Miri Weatherlight Duelist, and as long as it's tapped, no more than one creature can attack you each combat. Also, no one can block with more than one. Also nasty. One other thing I was thinking about while putting this deck together would be like to basically cut off the deck at like 4 and have almost nothing up here. Aurelia, obviously, because she's really good, and Waves of Aggression also because it's really good, but and then just like making it like a really like tightly focused low curve deck. I think that could be interesting. You know, you play a bunch of like 2 and 3 drop creatures that have a bunch of keywords on them, and then when you drop Akroma, they get huge, and then if you drop Odric Lunarch Marshal, they get really, really big. So similar idea to what we're doing, just with a different mana curve and not trying to go as big. Curious to see what that would look like. Because the other issue too, with this one having to go bigger, you also have to be able to produce the mana to do that, which just, it eats up more card slots. Like I put Nyx Lotus in here, which I don't put in a lot of decks, but wanted to make sure that there's enough mana production to support that. Opponent plays a Trusty Pack Beast, and it returns target artifact from their graveyard to their hand. Ooh, there's one of those at 3 mana now? I did not know that. They're never typically good enough, but there's some decks that probably want them. That deck, for example, because they got a Spirit out of it. They got a 4/2. Also, they cast their commander before all that happened. Still got a bunch of mana up. That Smothering Tithe. Gross. Teferi's Protection is a very cool card. Probably going to try and work our way to, like, be able to cast stuff and hold that up. Cast our commander and hold it up. Not paying. Play the Mountain. Do some attacking. Send this one into Flintlock and this one into Sean. And then we're going to draw with both lands as the time arises. Opponent flashes in a thing. Yep. They block with it. It's only 4. I would have just taken it. Unless they got a plan. Kediss is going to sting everyone for 2 again. Slowly whittling them down. I'll tell you what. All of the instances of each opponent takes this much damage or each opponent loses that much life. Very powerful. Even something as simple as like Bantu's Monument can be nasty over the course of a few turns. Yeah, we're going to sit on Teferi's Protection and draw with the lands when the time comes around. We'll see if Sean or anyone wants to try and blow up that Smothering Tithe before we do that. Oh, I should have put Scout's Warning in the deck. We could cast it with Flash. That would have been awesome. That is such a hard card to slot in, though. You know, for this deck, I think it makes sense, though, right? Because this Akroma doesn't have haste. And this Akroma just does things when it's on the battlefield. I think there were some people that expected a little bit more of Akroma, but like, she's a brick wall when she's on the battlefield. Because everyone's trying to do like efficient stuff now. A 6/6 with flying and first strike blocks just about everything that people still play profitably. And I know green creatures tend to get really big and, you know, they can be a problem, but if you're not facing down a green deck that's going big, then Akroma's probably going to be able to block and kill most of the creatures you have in play. So it's just really, really good, and it really does a lot for 7 mana. Return to the Wild Speaker. Well, opponent's going to draw. Oh my god, Eric's going to have so much mana. Yeah, this isn't going to be good. I guess it's only 3. Still, 3 more treasures. They have 5 cards in hand. I'd be surprised if we didn't see them all this turn. They've got a lot of mana. There's a Hardened Scales. Let's see what they can do with 10 treasures. Solemn. Hammer of Perforos is a good one. How do you get that back? I didn't see. Oh, right. Pack Beast. Sweet. Triggers the Esper Sentinel. No attacks for opponent. So, yeah, the attack situation's a little weird right now. They didn't have, like, truly profitable attacks anywhere, so that makes sense. Go to the end step. We'll do the card draw thing that we talked about. Activate the War Room. You know what? Should have left the white mana up just in case. We have the Signet, I guess. Slayer's Stronghold is our next land drop. Activate the Makokoro. There's a Prophetic Flame Speaker. Sweet. It'll get us some card advantage that we need. And best of all, won't trigger the Smothering Tithe. We can pay for one of these, so we'll go ahead and do that. And actually, we can... Well, I don't know if it would make sense to do that. We could give the Flame Speaker haste with the Slayer Stronghold, but that will use up most of our mana, and we wouldn't actually be able to cast the cards. There's a Stoneforge Mystic, and there's not a lot of open mana between our opponents. What's the difference between 12 and 13 treasures? Probably not that much. Play the Slayer Stronghold. Hearthenhome? Yeah, I think Hearthenhome. Stoneforge Mystic. Dowsing Dagger would also be good. Oh, but Hearthenhome keeps triggering stuff. Yeah. Gotta be Hearthenhome. Just so good. Such a good card. Use the Signet, this one, and the Homeward Path. Esper Sentinel, he can have the card. Opponent's gonna accrue their thingy. Yep, not paying. Triggers a Smothering Tithe. Maybe we should have paid. The sword on the Kediss. Go to combat. Kediss into Sean. Angel into Eric. Yeah, what's interesting here is that, like, Flintlock's gonna take damage even though we're not attacking them. The Kediss ability. Just very, very solid. We're up to 45. We're gonna blink the Stoneforge Mystic. Get a Plains. And I think now we're gonna get that Dowsing Dagger. Lightning Greaves are also good, though. Get the Dowsing Dagger. We have good cards, we just need mana to cast them. And there's the 4 damage trigger. So yeah, we're getting opponents' life totals moving now. And been doing it without our big lady. Sean says he's not having a good time at all. Yeah, he just needs the ramp. Soul Raying into the Sentinel. Key to the City. Helpful. No attacks from opponent. Sitting on a bunch of open blue mana kind of feels like a rift. We'll want to make sure that we don't tap out the Teferis. Treasure number 18 over there. Signet. There's some ramp for him. And his own Smothering Tithe. Ew. Card draw just got really bad. With Dowsing Dagger, you always want to do a Strip Mine check. I'm not seeing any in play currently. Ew, that's a Wheel of Misfortune. We're going to choose 0, is what we're going to do. This hand is very good. That is with the Smothering Tithe in play on top of the 18 mana that they already have. 18 treasures. Sean will probably get some mana out of this too. He's going to Heroic Intervention. I'm guessing that he needs to take a new hand based on how things have been going for him. 0 for us. Yep, there's a bunch of Smothering Tithe triggers. Flintlock also chose 0. Sean took a new hand. All things considered, that's probably not as bad as it could have been. Us not taking a new hand really cut down the amount of treasures that would be out there, because that would be 14 additional treasures, 7 for each player. And a Mass Hysteria in hand. Where is it? There it is, Mass Hysteria. Funny card. I don't know why, like, it's the same card as Concordant Crossroads, just red shifted, but this one's just funnier. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the name? Oh, that could go in this deck. I don't know that you want to, because it's a dangerous card. Like, with stuff like that, you only want to play it when you're gonna win the game. That's generally how the green decks do it, usually in the loop of casting a million creatures all in one turn. Because it can get you killed if you just, like, lay it out there in the middle of the game for no reason. More of a fan of Fervor for that reason. I try to run a Rabrask when I can, but 5 mana, just... Oh, I really wish our Rabrask was 4 mana. They're up to 4 planes, getting there on their Ameri account. Got their own Esper Sentinel. All the value. The issue that we're going to kind of run into here is that, like, opponents have so much mana that if they have any interaction at all, they will easily be able to play. That's a Mirror March. That's actually pretty scary. That can do things. Flayer of the Hatebound is probably an issue. Whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield from your graveyard, deal damage equal to its power to any target. Mirror March. He did get an additional copy. Sending a 4/2 our way. We don't really have, like, profitable blocks. But I think it does make sense to... it is Undying. It's a token, though, so it won't come back. Yeah, I think it does make sense to block this and just get it off the battlefield so they don't combo out with it. Because if you have 2 instances of that, it's really easy to kill someone with, like, just about anything. There's the Undying trigger, but it shouldn't actually happen. Yeah, nothing to worry about there. There's a Vandal Blast. We would lose 3 Mana Rocks and a Sword of Hearthenhome. You know, I kind of like what that sword's bringing. I don't think we can lose the mana. Yeah, Teferis Protect. Esper Sentinel triggers. Pay 1 to prevent 1. Didn't see whose it was. I think we skipped Sean's draw. Flintlock's gonna accrue and draw a card with Fallow Sage. Riot Control. Oh god. You gain 1 life for each creature your opponents control. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. That's actually really good against shenanigans with Flair of the Hatebound. He goes up to 34. It's pretty good. Mana drain on, I think, the Vandal Blast. Oh, do we waste it to fairies? I think we wasted it to fairies. It's not great. It is the problem when people have like 30 extra mana a turn. They can just keep casting everything. No, they're Smothering Tithe. It only gives them 1 mana on the mana drain, which is good. But they would lose way too many things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they'd lose 5 cards. That's a lot to lose. Vandal Blast gets countered. Art of Fairy's Protection gets blanked. Although, at least we can't die to, like, Flair of the Hatebound shenanigans. At least for the time being. No mana left. I mean, I think we're on just, like, Akroma Haste. Dealing with that much treasure and card draw is a nightmare. Mind Stone. Mirror March. Exile the token. We phase back in. Oh, wow. Opponent's gonna really... Opponent is going to silence us. Yeah, not much we can do. That's annoying. That's a very spiky card, and I get that, like, you probably need to run it in this day and age of Commander, but I can be annoyed about it. And I mean, like, yeah, we definitely, like, cast Akroma and just smash them in the face really hard, but Marshal's Anthem is a good pickup in the sense that if a board gets wiped, we can get all our things back. Well, since we can't do that much this turn, we should pay. This is Sean's Smothering Tithe. He can have it. What we can do is use the Stoneforge Mystic to drop in this Dowsing Dagger. Sean can have some plants. Yeah. He's going to make Kediss unblockable. Love it. Love it. Equip the Dowsing Dagger. Into Eric. Can't block, but we will pump the... we could have gave it Vigilance. It could be a blocker. Well, that's relevant. Hopefully we don't get blasted on the way back. This is going to cut opponent in half, though. We could blink it and then re-equip. It's not the worst idea. Oh, what are we doing? Because we could blink this. We could also blink the Stoneforge Mystic and equip it to that. It's not terrible either. We'll do that. Get another Plains. Use the ability. Sunforger would allow us to, like, probably finish the game. But it is a very big play. I think I just want Lightning Greaves. Transform the Dowsing Dagger. And opponents take 8 from the Kediss. So they're going to feel that a little bit. Let's put opponent to 10 commander damage. Yeah, let's move the sword. Yeah, let's move to the one with lifelink. Seems like a good idea. And pass like that. Opponent's going to crack their Inventor's Fair. You know, this might be a good Light and Shadow deck. It's got a decently high creature count. A lot of my Voltron decks have dwindling creature counts. I think, like, I run probably, like, 12 creatures in Brunor, because Brunor's in the command zone. You just don't need a lot of other creatures. You can run a lot of equipment. And a lot of interactive spells, too. Protection and stuff like that. Removal. Key to the City untaps. What did opponent get? They got a Sky Sovereign. I mean, they could get 5 in with the Key to the City. There's the mana drain trigger. That'll be for 1. You know, I have the feeling that opponent had that mana drain when the Wheel of Misfortune was cast. Because they didn't take a new hand. And if that's the case, they should have 100% countered that Wheel of Misfortune. That's where a lot of our problems are stemming from. The crap tons more mana, crap tons more cards, right? That's really the issue. Cast the Sky Sovereign. What do you shoot is the question. This one's kind of nasty, but it has Undying and it comes back. You probably want to get it out of play one time, or let's see where they want to put this. Okay. On the Esper Sentinel is fine. Slow down the card draw. I would love it if Sean dropped a board wipe. That would be fantastic. Particularly like an Austere Command, maybe get some of the artifacts, Hour of Rev. We can recover from that stuff because of Marshal's Anthem, but we've also done really well with our lands. Opponent could have got them with the Cultivator's Caravan. I'm, like, with the Flayer out there, I am pretty nervous that we might die. Even from 49. Like, we have pretty good life, but this thing can be deadly. I guess they don't have Living Death, but still... something. I'm sure it's in there for a reason. Lathiel coming into play. Well, doesn't look like we're getting that board wipe we hoped on him. Unless they go protection spell, then board wipe. Maybe. Voice of the Blessed. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It only does 4 or more +1/+1 counters. It has Flying and Vigilance. And if it has 10 or more on it, it has Indestructible. Wouldn't be terrible for the keywords deck, but there's some life gain. Not everything has life gain. I mean, this has lifelink. Does it have lifelink itself? No. It needs to get to 4. Yeah, it's a little tricky. A Zebra Unicorn deals damage, you gain that much life. Nice. Notably, not lifelink, all the way out of Mirage. That is some unique art. There's not a lot of Magic cards that look like that. Not anymore these days. What I realize I kind of miss, I miss the abstract backgrounds of old Magic art. Stuff from new sets like this is all about, like, conveying the world that you're on, which is cool. Like, definitely better world building, but something that just misses like kind of the free reign of the artist to determine what the background was, and you'd have all kinds of random stuff. Like, even with this, there's like not much going on in the background, which makes Akroma really stand out. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much else in this image. It's literally Akroma and then just like a beige background. And, you know, I kind of miss that. You know, here you can see all of Zendikar and stuff, and, you know, yes, the art for Stoneforge Mystic is very cool, but it's different. It's just different. I mean, I guess the good news is that we basically have Lathiel without even needing to haste the Akroma. Core Cartographer into the Lurking Predators. Ooh, God, with Mirror March, that can be some value. I mean, they've already valued so much. So much. Mirror March trigger. No additional copies. Excellent. He's got like 4 or 5 mana up over here, so we got to be careful. It doesn't look like he has much, but Mana Dork, Ancient Tomb. It's 5 open mana. Opponent still doesn't really have profitable attacks. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed with this deck is that it, you know, 4/2s are cool, but it's hard to get them through stuff. You really want probably like Dolmen Gate or Iroas. Well, we're still alive. That's cool. Let's draw with the War Room. There's a land. Triggers all the Smothering Tides. There's another land. 2 Smothering Tide triggers. Not paying. Play the Plains, I guess. Cast Akroma. Lurking Predators. There's a Manglehorn. Sure, I'm not going to love that. Yeah, blows up the sword. Don't love it. Let's activate the Stoneforge Mystic. I don't think we're drawing a card this turn. Drop in the Lightning Greaves. This avoids the cast. Put the boots on Akroma. Akroma's equipped. I feel decent. If we wanted to get really greedy, we could slam the True Conviction. That would leave us with 1 mana left. Can't say for sure whether that's the best idea or not. Let's just go for it. Because I don't really want to cast any more creatures because we're already exposed creature-wise. So, cast a True Conviction. See where this gets us. Lurking Predators. Hopefully, if nothing else, it'll get us out of range of the Flayer of the Hatebound. We can pay 1. We'll pay 1. We have Double Strike and Lifelink. Let's go to combat. Opponent's gonna crew something. Draws a card with the Fallow Sage. This thing's getting +4. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Something's giving this +1. Oh, right. The Angel's giving it +1. Opponent's gonna crew the Sky Sovereign. That's fine. This is interesting because opponents have so much open mana, like if they have removal, that's kind of an issue. This would be a lethal attack if they don't have removal, but I don't know. I guess we could go into Sean, and that'll also hurt everyone else really badly. We'll attack everyone. How about that? Yep, opponent's gonna block with their 1/1. That's fine. Opponent pays a cost. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-0 until end of turn. That's annoying. Eric should still be dead, so I guess that's fine. It'll just reduce how much happens to everyone else. It's not a terrible card, especially for a land slot. You can definitely mess up some attacks with that, especially against like a token deck. You can also turn that into like profitable blocks for yourself. Akroma hits. That's going to be a Kediss trigger. Eric's at 3. They're casting something. Hope they're going to make a golem. Do we care about that? I don't know if we care about that. Eric goes down. Here's another Kediss trigger. And these Kediss triggers are with lifelink, so we're also gaining a ton of life. We're up to 87. Love it. Not much else we can do. Pass like that. Had a pretty good turn. I feel decently safe. The thing that I worry about more than anything would be losing our board state. Like some sort of one-sided wipe, namely Rift. Just worried about a Rift is really what I'm worried about. Like, any sort of fair board wipe won't bother me too much unless they pair it with the protection spell. We have some time because we have so much life, but the stuff in this deck will get huge quickly, especially with Lathiel being in now. Oh, really? Opponent's gonna sleep? Tap all creatures target player controls those they don't untap during their next untap step. That's disgusting. Well, they'll probably be very surprised to see this Akroma. That can still kill a player. Yeah, we're tapped out, and they don't untap. That's not amazing. Need a mono-white Spidery Grasp or something. I'm sure that card exists. Village Bell Ringer. Village Bell Ringer exists. You wouldn't run it just for the untap, though. You run it for the Kiki combo. Psy Master Thopterist. That can make flyers. That's pretty annoying. I guess we have Trample on this Akroma. And importantly, they've tapped out all their blue mana. That's the thing that we're most worried about. So just need to get Sean to tap out now, and then we can slam big old Akroma into the blue player before they untap. Although we do need to be careful with Sean. He has a large and unmitigated board state of many creatures with Smothering Tithe and Lurking Predators and Hardened Scales. A lot of things can go wrong with what he has going on. Opponent's going to crew the Sky Sovereign and draw a card. Opponent's going to attack us. Yep. Luckily, Akroma makes our stuff huge. Opponent's going to do 3 damage to the Stoneforge. No blocks. Gotta watch out for an overrun. Overrun could be bad. Opponent has tapped out all of their creatures, which means if we want to get busy with this Prophetic Flame Speaker, which I do, there might be an opportunity to do that. We will have to use a lot of mana to get Akroma in. I don't know how it'll take 6 more mana to give this. Well, we can put the boots on it. We'll see what Sean does, though, how much mana he spends. If he leaves a bunch of mana up, then that might change things. If he burns it all, then we can be loosey-goosey with the boots, but it's been very little removal this game. I think the Venser and a Vandal Blast that got countered. It's been not that much. Definitely no creature board wipes. We've had the same creatures in play all game, basically. I guess there was a generous gift on our Bastion Protector. There's a Cleric class. Oh, God, yeah. That's scary. Oh, if we do it right, I think we can actually kill both players. So if we go Flame Speaker, hit it with this thing, that'll give it more than enough damage to kill Flintlock. And then Akroma will be giant. Actually, no. Akroma won't be big enough to kill Sean. Sean's at 16 and probably going to gain a little more right here. Fortifying Drought. You gain 2 life. Creature gets +X/+X, where X is the amount of life you've gained this turn. Okay. I really hope we don't get commander damaged out right here. Lathiel is a 5/5. They're on level 2 of their Cleric class, by the way. Well, we've been hit with a sleep and a silence this game. Can't say I love any of that. I get it. We're threatening. It's a threatening deck, and opponents' decks have been less threatening. Also just slower than us, generally. And we got out of the gate really good with the triple ramp. Mox Amber, Boros Signet, Myriad Landscape. That propelled us. Akroma plus, like, 1 good creature is a lot of damage. If that creature has flying and 1 or 2 other keywords, you're putting a hurting on your opponents, even in the early game. And they're just losing a lot. There's a land tax. He's down to 5 mana. Okay, looks like we might survive. Oh, you want to be a problem? If he, that could be annoying. Akroma trigger. If we caught Aurelia or Waves of Aggression off the top, I mean, I guess that would easily end it. Yeah, Sean gonna send everything our way. Yeah, I feel like all of the removal was used on us. 2 Smothering Tithes running rampant, 2 Esper Sentinels running rampant, and the removal bounced our Akroma, shot our Bastion Protector, shot our Sword of Hearth and Home. Only one of these. The Hearth and Home, yeah, sure, I get it. It's a problem. Cleric class, Tresselara, Voice of the Blessed, Zebra Unicorn. I actually want him to gain some life back right here, because this is the type of deck where you can really get the calculator out and start doing crazy amounts of damage. A lot of the times when you get to this point in the game, our opponent's life total's 10 and 27. We can chew through that in a hurry if these creatures were untapped. A lot of times with, like, big damage decks like this, people just don't have enough life to make it interesting for you. Like, you almost want to face a life gain deck so they have, like, 100, just to see if you can chew through 100 and how long it'll take. Do you guys ever get that feeling, or is that just me? Someone needs to bring a Cabal deck for this thing. So, all right, you're at 80 life. Cool. Let's get to work. See how much we can do. We're down to 55. That's a sizable punch. 7 commander. Whole bunch of triggers have gone off, and I'm sure everything else is going to get much bigger. Gotta watch out for Teferis. Gotta watch out for Settle the Wreckage or a Comeuppance. Can't really do anything about any of them. Just have to hope they don't happen. That's really where we're at. He's up to 30. Not exactly 100, but, you know, buys him at least a turn. Actually, that's enough where, yeah, we probably got to be careful. Aurelia off the top. Waves of Aggression off the top. Is Waves of Aggression attackers only? I don't remember. Aggravated Assault untaps all your creatures, but I didn't put Aggravated in. Yeah, Sean's going to pump the team. We have to leave the blue deck alive, I think. I think we have to try and kill Sean, which I think we might actually be able to do. Because that'll get 12. 12 with Double Strike is 24. We could give it +2 from that, and that would make it 8, then 16. 16... Wait, what? Oh, right. So if this were 8, and then it gets +6, that'd be 14. And then doubled is 28, and then we just need the Flame Speaker to get the last... oh, he's got 2 plant. Oh, we found it! We found it! we found the untapper! He's got 5 open mana already. I don't think 6 is gonna make a difference here. Make sure we have enough for both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have enough. We found it. Lurking Predator's trigger. Go to combat. Oh, this is gonna get even bigger because it has Double Strike already. Fantastic. Yeah, that's a 15/15 Exacxes. Oh, he could have a Teferi's Protection if he does. It's not good. Send it. Oh, there's a Miri. Oh, that's unfortunate. So we have to send, I guess, this one into Sean and then this one into Flintlock. There's a legal attack. There's the Aurelia trigger. I feel pretty good about things now. I guess Settle the Wreckage is still a problem, but although untap trigger, even if they settle right now, which they'd have to, we'd still have this attack. Uh-oh, he's got something. Akroma's Will. Ooh, that's interesting. He has just the plants up. He should have left some creatures back. If he had an Akroma's Will, definitely should have left some creatures back. The trample on Akroma should bring us home, though. Maybe not necessarily in the first combat, but by the second one. Yeah, they're going to block what they can on the Akroma. That'll soak up 4 of the 15. So it'll be 11 with double strike. Flintlock goes down. We're up to 95. Gaining that life. Sean's down to 8. Back to combat. Here's another trigger. 23 power. And he scoops right there. So yeah, the deck brings damage. And, I mean, Kediss got a lot done, too. We did a lot of Kediss damage because we didn't have Akroma for most of the game. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have 2 new Patreon supporters in Lathiel and Frank Ogden. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel, vote on which decks I play next, or get some good games of Spell Table, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below.